over 55 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by the Georgia Farm Bureau in association with Abraham Baldwin Agricultural College.
Alrighty, welcome friends. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Farm Monitor. Jennifer Parson piloting this ship on a solo mission this week. As you see, no Ray DeLassio, but there's a very good reason for it, and here's why.
Here in San Antonio, we're taking you inside American Farm Bureau's annual convention, where the nation's top ag leaders are helping to shape the future of the industry, and where Georgia's young farmers are letting their voices be heard.
Also on the program, after more than a decade of restrictions, Georgia farmers are finally getting access to a vital water source, what it means for the future of agriculture in the state. And then later, we're digging deeper into soil testing, literally. Learn how extension agents ensure your soil samples give you the best results for healthier crops and gardens. All this and so much more starts right now on the Farm Monitor. Coming off one of the driest years on record, having enough water to support their crops has become a major concern for farmers around the state. Fortunately, some much-needed relief might be on the way for those in southwest Georgia, thanks to a new ruling by the EPD. Damon Jones has the story.
Despite the countless hours that go into preparing the land, choosing the right variety, and protecting against pests and diseases, no crop can be successful without the proper amount of water. And for more than a decade, the largest underground source in the region has been unavailable to farmers here in Georgia. However, thanks to a new ruling from the EPD, those restrictions have been lifted.
EPD will begin accepting applications for new withdrawals from the Floridan Aquifer in southwest Georgia beginning in April of 2025. And that's certainly welcome news. That area has been under a moratorium now we're entering our 13th year. And the news is, as I say, certainly welcome for growers in that area. The Floridan Aquifer is a fantastic resource for farmers in that area. It supports hundreds of thousands of acres of irrigation.
With a number of counties in that part of the state experiencing abnormally dry conditions in 2024, having the aquifer as a possible option for irrigation is exciting news.
The Floridan is a resource in terms of groundwater that is more readily accessible for most of the growers in southwest Georgia in terms of the cost of tapping that resource, unlike some of the deeper aquifers. And so for farmers that may be looking to expand their irrigated acreage in some way, this is an important development.
Despite the ruling that allows for these new drilling permits, there will still be some restrictions on water usage in order to maintain the ecosystem.
This is not opening up to just unlimited acreage forever, right? These new permits will have some drought restrictions on them because, as we now know, there is that tight connection, and we want to make sure that we are maintaining adequate stream flows in some of those critical areas. And so these new permits will have some drought restrictions in place. But again, in most years, this is going to be a really good resource for our farmers.
Being good stewards of the land, which includes maximizing water efficiency, is a cornerstone within the farming community and is one of the major factors that went into this new ruling.
One of the main reasons we're able to make this announcement and that we got this good news from the governor's office is that over the same period of time, we've been able to demonstrate that our farmers are really good stewards of the resource. And so we understand that their use is highly efficient and that they're taking care of our shared water resources, and that's gone a long way to helping us get to this place where we're now able to begin expanding some of that use.
This is also a culmination of plenty of hard work behind the scenes, where researchers, administrators, and most importantly, farmers work together in order to come up with a resolution.
As much as Farm Bureau has been involved with getting that moratorium looked at and lifted for everything from frost protection to irrigation wells, it probably wouldn't have moved as fast if it hadn't been for Farm Bureau. So to all of the people down in that part of the state that are Farm Bureau members, thank you for helping us get the ball rolling.
Reporting from Tifton, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Next week on the show, don't miss Damon's in-depth reporting on the ongoing avian bird flu crisis. He takes us to the State Poultry Lab in Gainesville, where experts are working hard to monitor the situation in hopes of preventing any future outbreaks on Georgia's poultry farms. Well, get ready, because after the break, we're hitting the road and heading to Texas. See for yourself why this year's American Farm Bureau Convention had it all. Big crowds, big ideas, and a big showing from Georgia farmers.
Our County Farm Bureau leaders, they're the heartbeat and the strength of our organization. They are the movers and shakers. They're the ones that makes opportunities out of challenges. They're the ones that convene our farmers together to talk about policy, build our policy, and yes, engage themselves when we're trying to advocate for our farmers, whether it be at the county level, the state level, or at the national level. You know, I travel this country and I provide the voice for American farmers, one united voice that you help provide through our policy. But you're also there to take on challenges that our farmers are taking on, and you make those challenges into opportunities. You take our aspirations and make them into achievements. And my job is not just to be that spokesman, it's also to be there to help you. Between your county, your state, and the national level, we have many resources to help you in leadership and advocacy development. We are there to help you build your membership through certain tools that we have that we can provide for you. You are the secret sauce to Farm Bureau to actually getting our mission accomplished. I so much appreciate all the volunteer hours that our farmers go to and deliver the exercise that completes our mission as Farm Bureau. As county leaders and as County Farm Bureau presidents, we are who we are because of their hard work.
When it comes to agriculture, there's no bigger gathering of passion, innovation, and advocacy than the American Farm Bureau Convention. And this year, the action took over San Antonio, Texas, a city famous for its history, its culture, and of course, its deep ranching roots. Our Ray D'Alessio was there, soaking it all in and bringing us the best moments from this must-see celebration.
Well, howdy from San Antonio, Texas, where everything is bigger, including this year's American Farm Bureau Convention. For the second time in a decade, the Alamo City playing host to one of agriculture's most anticipated events. And in true Texas style, American Farm Bureau pulled out all the stops, going big with its sessions, exhibits, and celebrations. Set along the stunning San Antonio Riverwalk and in the shadows of the historic Alamo, this year's convention was nothing short of spectacular. Farmers, ranchers, and agricultural enthusiasts from across the nation poured into the Henry B. Gonzalez Convention Center, all eager to take in the sights and sounds of everything AFBF had to offer. One of the biggest attractions, a close-up personal view of a real-life Texas steer, a true nod to the state's ranching legacy. Additionally, there was no shortage of Georgia pride. Visitors savored some of the finest peanuts in the country, all while browsing an impressive display by Georgia-based Magnolia Loom, their front and center booth enabling attendees to take home one of their signature shirts.
We are passionate about what we do here in Georgia, especially for Magnolia Loom. We own a big factory and we manufacture all types of apparel, and just for the world to know what we're doing here in Georgia is everything to us. So it's very special for us to be here in San Antonio.
And speaking of impressive displays, the County of Excellence Row didn't disappoint. Habersham County Farm Bureau proudly showcased their award-winning Summer on the Farm program, inspiring not only convention attendees, but the next generation of farmers.
Yeah, we're excited about it. This is an event that our office manager and programs coordinator, Madison, put together, and she just did a great job with it. It was, we took kids from our local community, brought them into our Farm Bureau office. We highlighted a different commodity each day that they were there, did activities around that commodity, fed them lunch, read them a book. And so just, how it is, trying to educate the kids on agriculture and get them involved.
I was ecstatic. I will admit that there were some ugly tears because I was just so happy to be here and to be recognized and to show off my program and continue the awareness for agricultural education in the classroom. And it's just amazing not only to represent Georgia Farm Bureau at the local level for Habersham, but just at a national level to meet so many people from all over the world, and to just be able to experience this is absolutely amazing.
Before I dive into my speech, though, because we're here in Texas, it's something I want to do.
But this convention was about more than just vendor booths and photo ops. When American Farm Bureau President Zippy Duvall took the stage, it was time to get down to business.
All of you know that it's been a tough battle on the Farm Bill. And while we appreciate Congress passing an extension, we are not going to let up, despite lawmakers kicking the can down the road and making political excuses. Tens of thousands of you have stepped up to help, and you bet we are going to keep on working together to make sure that we get a modernized Farm Bill.
Convention 2025 was more than just an event. It was a celebration of agriculture, a call to action, and a reminder of the collective power of farmers and ranchers across the nation. With sights set on the future, American Farm Bureau and its partnering counties are ready to drive forward. Now, in case you're wondering, next year's convention will take place on the left coast in the great city of Anaheim, California. Can't wait for that. Of course, every year, convention brings together some of the sharpest young minds in agriculture for the Young Farmers and Ranchers competitions. And while the atmosphere may be full of smiles and camaraderie, make no mistake about it, these contestants are here to compete. As John Holcomb shows us, Georgia's representatives in San Antonio didn't just show up, they made their presence known.
Some of Georgia's brightest in the world of agriculture were on hand here in San Antonio to compete in this year's YF&R competitive events. The journey to get here hasn't been an easy one, but nonetheless, they've been in great hands preparing for this moment.
We've got several practices that we've had with Discussion Meet in particular. We've talked to several people that have done the competition before, several state winners that have competed on the national level before. They've given some good insight to how it actually runs here. As far as the other achievement and excellence, it's really just been working through presentations, making sure that their applications are finalized, ready to go, and making sure that they feel comfortable with the questions that they potentially will be asked. We've done a few practices for them as well. Again, just trying to make sure that we're attacking this from every angle.
For Discussion Meet competitor Kane Thurmond of Jackson County, competing in Texas at the national level is a task he took very seriously, spending the last few weeks, months even, preparing by doing what he does best, having conversations.
I think the preparation process was a really good experiment because it forced me to have the conversations that I need to be having anyway. So reaching out to not only my county Farm Bureau, but meeting with people within the state, and then reaching beyond that, maybe some Farm Bureau members of the past, or Farm Bureau people that should be Farm Bureau members, and asking them questions about how are we doing? What more can we be doing? What are the challenges on your farm? And so the preparation process was long and arduous, and I'm glad to finally get here to use some of that preparation and put it to work. But I just believe in being prepared no matter what we're headed into in life. And so I wanted to be overly prepared. Better to be overly prepared than not prepared at all.
For Caitlin and Caleb Marchant of Oglethorpe County, competitors in this year's Excellence in Agriculture competition, being here in San Antonio is a testament to preparation that has been years in the making, and of course a support system of fellow GFB members that have encouraged them along the way.
The great thing about this contest is that it's really just an opportunity for us to share the work that we've already done on the front end. So the tough part was the last 5 or 6 years of being really actively involved and building up our resume. Getting here and just being able to share that and tell that story is really honestly been kind of the easy and fun part.
And we just surround ourselves with good people. So we came from a really strong YF&R committee that was really cohesive and worked really well together. And our local Farm Bureau really supported us in anything we wanted to do, and they kind of pushed us along and encouraged us to step out of our comfort zones.
In the end, Thurman advanced his way to the Final Four round, but ended the competition just shy of the grand prize, coming in second place. However, he's still thrilled with the result and the experience that came with it, and says he's ready to get to work to make a difference back in Georgia.
Every round we mention grassroots, and so I'm really excited to kind of get off the stage and get into the grassroots, to dig in Jackson County, to make a difference, and to do everything that I can to ensure that future generations can enjoy agriculture there.
Reporting in San Antonio for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
All right, that wraps up me and John's coverage from here in San Antonio, but we're not done with the convention just yet. Coming up, Kenny Burgamy sits down with Georgia Farm Bureau President Tom McCall to dive into the business and policy side of things here at convention. For now, though, I'm Ray DeLesio signing off. Jennifer, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks so much. Awesome reporting from the Lone Star State, Ray. After the break, we're showing you how to properly collect a soil sample to give your crops the best start this season. From tools to techniques, we'll break it all down.
Agriculture is more than just the food that we eat, the food on your table. It's a lifestyle for many of us. It's a way that we work. It's a way that we earn money. For us, this is our viability. And if we lose farming, if we import all of our food, we're no longer viable as a nation. Therefore, it is imperative that we start saving family farms now. We need labor to do this. We're not just a family farm, we're families that farm together. So I really want our farm to succeed. Everyone wants to pass their farm onto their kids. Well, our crew also has their kids too. They grow up and work on the farm as well. We share in what happens on the farm. So if my farm goes under, it's not just my kids who are going to lose out. It's our crew's kids who are going to lose out as well. We want to protect our crew because we love them. And if we go under and have to sell our farm, they're going to have to leave. If we don't make a change now, we're going to lose our farm.
Most of the vegetables we're growing are hand harvested, and so we need that labor source to be successful and to get our crop to the consumer. The H2A program has been around for a long time. We started using it back in like 2013. Most of the people that are coming to harvest are people that have been coming for 4 to 5 years, probably at a minimum. They come on a legal work visa for up to 10 months. They're on our farms sometimes from like May to November, and so after that they'd go back to Mexico or Guatemala. They're coming here to look for a better life, for a better opportunity to economically benefit their family. So a lot of them come up and they'll come back year after year, and they'll do that for X amount of years until they've started a life down there. A lot of them are building houses and buying farms and starting their lives down in Mexico or Guatemala, just looking for a better opportunity for them and their family.
The impact on farmers from the labor shortage really comes down to the future. Who's going to be farming our farmland and who's going to be taking care of those crops and harvesting it. And we need to find a way to make sure that farmers can sustain themselves and continue to do what's right for the farm, but also do what's right for the people that's coming and working so hard for us.
Behind the bustling exhibits and networking events of American Farm Bureau's annual convention lies the business session, where critical decisions are made for the future of agriculture. In a one-on-one conversation with Georgia Farm Bureau President Tom McCall, Kenny Burgamy gets an inside look at what happens behind those closed doors, as well as the skinny regarding some of the lighter moments that help to make every convention memorable.
Mr. McCall, the convention underway here in San Antonio, always a good time to get together. Give me an overview of what you see with this convention this year.
Well, you know, it's always good to get 5,000 or 6,000 farmers together, and even though we have different issues, we all have one purpose, and that's to take care of agriculture and try to make our farming community as profitable and as healthy and as good as it can be.
If there's one takeaway, you look back on the last 5 days, what's that takeaway as you leave San Antonio?
Well, we are all united on the legislative front to try to take care of agriculture in Washington, D.C. and get a farm bill done and all the other environmental type stuff that we want to use common sense on, and I think that may be turning. I hope we're going to hurry up and get a farm bill, but you know, that's the kind of stuff that we do here, and then they leave it up to the states to handle local issues and state issues. And I will tell y'all, back in Georgia, we have the best public relations and public policy department to handle that message of any state in the country, and I'm proud of our people.
Most important question, do you get a pair of cowboy boots while you're out here?
Well, I already got too many in. I already got too many hats, but I will tell you, I've been to a little store called Paris Hatters about 3 or 4 times with Georgia people buying cowboy hats. And, you know, it's a good thing to see our people having fun and enjoying Texas like they are. And I'll tell you this, y'all see these little red bags of peanuts? They are everywhere in San Antonio. And our people in this voting delegate session of every state have a fit if we don't bring these Georgia peanuts, the best peanuts in the country, for them to enjoy while we're doing policy.
Recently, we gave you an inside look at the meticulous and efficient soil testing lab at the University of Georgia. In part 2 of our special series on soil testing, we're focusing on the vital role of extension agents, from proper collection techniques to ensuring accuracy. Here's a look at how to make the process smooth and straightforward so your soil can give you the insights you need for healthy crops and healthy gardens.
It's very important to take soil samples. It really is the first opportunity for you to understand what's going on your landscape before you put your crop into the ground. For plants to grow big and strong, they really need to have nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. Those are the big nutrients or components that the plants are basically going to eat through their roots. So the first step in coming out to a landscape like this, where you've got a raised bed, is picking a bunch of different places randomly throughout the raised bed and taking a soil sample that can then be processed at the University of Georgia's lab in Athens to tell you how good your soil is for your crops. Make sure that you have enough soil to actually represent where the roots are going to go down into the ground. You can start as easy as just using a shovel. You could use a trowel, or you can use something like a probe. Just using your foot, pressing it into the ground. Sometimes I twist, and then you can get a nice core like that. So this is just part of a sample. I would again take maybe 8 to 10 of these cores, mix it in a bucket, and then from there, take a subsample of what's in your bucket and get it into a sample bag that will be processed by the University of Georgia's lab in Athens. The biggest thing about taking multiple samples for a subsample is you want this to be representative of your field or of your raised bed. And so the better that you mix this, whether it's by hand or by a trowel, the more accurate your sample is going to be. I always write on the bag first. When you filled it up, it's a little harder to actually get the writing on here. Make sure your contact info is there. Phone and email for sure. These results can be emailed to you. And we need a decent amount. There's a fill line on here. If you don't have these bags at home or at your school, you can always grab your sample if you're doing it in a Ziploc bag, and you can just bring that to the office, and then we'll process it for you from there. The lab will take this, grind it up, dry it, and then process it, basically like making coffee in the lab. And the liquid that comes out of this sample being filtered will then tell you what your phosphorus, your potassium, your zinc, your manganese, and the big thing is pH. And pH is really just how acidic or basic is the soil. It's on a scale from 1 to 14, but usually you're going to be around 6. That's kind of the goal. If it's too low, as in your soil is acidic, if it's like a 4 when the results come back, then you can use lime to bump it up to an acceptable level. If it's too high, you can use sulfur to bump it back down. A healthy soil can look like many different things. A good rule of thumb is the darker the soil, the more organic matter there probably is. And what I mean by organic matter is anything that's alive or that was once alive that's helping that soil live and breathe. The greater chance that that soil's gonna have the nutrients that you need for your crops.
Thank you to UGA Extension Agent Joshua Grant. Some good information there for sure. Well, that's our show for this week. For everyone here at the program, I'm Jennifer Parson. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Farm Monitor. Have a great week.